On this day in history,
Who did
we
you leave
remember
with?
the remarkable individuals who shaped
Your
our
people?
world. Welcome to Who Died
Assuming,
Today
of course,
in
that they
History,
are still.
where we honor their legacies. From artists to leaders, their impact lives on. If you find their stories meaningful, like, subscribe, and hit the bell to stay connected.
Thank you to all our amazing channel members for your generous support.
Some performances fade with time, others haunt us forever. Heath Ledger gave the world one of those rare, unforgettable moments. Heath Andrew Ledger was born on April 4, 1979, in Perth, Western Australia. As a teenager, he was already drawn to acting, even leaving school early to chase roles with quiet determination. His rise was steady, then explosive. In the late 1990s, he gained attention in films like 10 Things I Hate About You, showing charm and natural screen presence. But he refused to be boxed into easy fame. He surprised critics with Monsters Ball and The Patriot, then stunned the world in 2005 with Brokeback Mountain. His portrayal of Ennis Del Mar was restrained, deeply human, and fearless. Just 3 years later came The Dark Knight. As the Joker, Ledger disappeared completely. The voice, the movements, the chaos. It wasn't just a performance, it was transformation. Behind the intensity, there was a quieter side. Heath was a devoted father to his daughter, Matilda, and deeply private about his personal life. He kept journals filled with drawings, notes, and fragmented thoughts, using them to build characters from the inside out. Few knew how seriously he carried his craft or how much pressure he placed on himself. Heath Ledger died on January 22, 2008, at just 28 years old. He was found in his apartment in Manhattan, New York City. The cause was an accidental overdose of prescription medications. The news shocked the world. A young actor, at the peak of his powers, suddenly gone. The reaction was immediate and overwhelming. Fans gathered outside his apartment. Tributes poured in from fellow actors, directors, and artists who spoke of his kindness and focus. When The Dark Knight was released later that year, audiences watched in silence, knowing they were witnessing something final. Heath Ledger would posthumously win the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor. Today, his legacy is untouchable. He is remembered as an artist who took risks, who chose depth over comfort, and who changed what audiences believed was possible on screen. His Joker remains a benchmark. His vulnerability still resonates. Heath Ledger didn't just leave behind films, he left echoes. And on this day, the silence he left behind still speaks. Some writers imagine new worlds, others reshape how we understand our own. Ursula K. Le Guin quietly did both, forever. Ursula Kroeber. Le Guin was born on October 21, 1929 in Berkeley, California. Growing up in a household filled with anthropology and myth, she learned early that stories shape cultures. Her rise was not sudden, but it was profound. In 1968, she published A Wizard of Earthsea, introducing readers to a fantasy world grounded not in conquest, but in balance, identity, and consequence. Soon after, The Left Hand of Darkness changed science fiction forever, exploring gender and humanity with rare empathy and intellectual courage. Over the decades, her Heinisch Cycle and Earthsea series earned multiple Hugo and Nebula Awards, not through spectacle, but through ideas that lingered long after the final page. Away from the spotlight, Le Guin lived a modest and deeply thoughtful life. She was known to resist labels, often rejecting the idea that genre fiction was somehow lesser than literary fiction. She spoke softly, but her words carried weight. In essays and speeches, she challenged power structures, defended imagination, and reminded readers that art is not a luxury, but a necessity. Ursula K. Le Guin died on January 22, 2018, at the age of 88. She passed away peacefully in her home in Portland, Oregon. The cause was not publicly specified, but her death marked the quiet end of a towering literary voice. The reaction was immediate and heartfelt. Writers, readers, and scholars across the world shared quotes, passages, and personal reflections. Tributes came not only from the literary world, but from filmmakers, activists, and dreamers who had found guidance in her words. Bookstores displayed her novels like memorials. Libraries felt a little more silent. Today, Ursula K. Le Guin is remembered as a writer who trusted her audience to think. She showed that fantasy could be philosophical, that science fiction could be gentle, and that imagination could be a form of resistance. Her stories are still taught, still debated, still discovered by new generations searching for meaning. Ursula K. Le Guin didn't shout to be heard. She whispered truths that echoed across worlds, and they are still echoing now. She carried elegance like a whisper and a sorrow like a shadow, leaving behind performances that still feel heartbreakingly alive today. Jean Marilyn Simmons was born on January 31, 1929, in Crouch Hill, London, England. As a teenager during World War II, she was spotted by a filmmaker. While working as an extra, her poise impossible to ignore. Her rise to fame was swift and luminous. In 1948, she captured hearts as the gentle Ophelia in Hamlet, starring opposite Laurence Olivier, earning her first Academy Award nomination. Hollywood soon followed, and Jean transitioned seamlessly into American cinema with films like The Robe, becoming one of the era's most admired leading ladies. In 1969, her role in The Happy Ending brought her a second Oscar nomination, proving her emotional depth matched her classic beauty. Behind the camera, Simmons was far more complex than her refined screen image. She struggled privately with relationships and the pressures of fame, yet remained deeply devoted to her children. Few knew she also possessed a quiet, sharp wit and a love for painting, often using art as a refuge from the demands of stardom. Jean Simmons died on January 22, 2010, at the age of 80. She passed away peacefully at her home in Santa Monica, California, after a long battle with lung cancer. The news marked the end of an era for classic cinema lovers. The reaction was immediate and deeply respectful. Tributes poured in from actors, critics, and film historians who praised her grace and emotional honesty. Turner Classic Movies honored her legacy with special programming, and fans revisited her films, rediscovering performances that had aged with rare dignity. Today, Jean Simmons is remembered as one of the last great bridges between British cinema and Hollywood's golden age. She brought vulnerability to strength, softness to resilience, and humanity to every role she touched. Her performances remain studied, admired, and quietly felt by audiences who may not even know her name at first but never forget her presence. Jean Simmons didn't demand attention. She earned it, scene by scene, leaving behind a legacy that still glows softly in the darkened theater of memory. She danced faster than time itself, tapping her way through Hollywood's golden age with impossible speed, sparkle, and unstoppable joy. Ann Miller was born on April 12, 1923, in Houston, Texas. As a child, she suffered from severe muscle weakness, and doctors recommended dance as therapy. It changed everything. Her rise to fame began astonishingly early. By the age of 12, Ann was already under contract at RKO Pictures, appearing in films alongside stars twice her age. But it was MGM that transformed her into a legend. In lavish musicals like Easter Parade, On the Town, and Kiss Me Kate, she stunned audiences with her lightning-fast tap dancing, often performing routines so demanding they left fellow dancers in awe. Her iconic performance in Anchors Aweigh remains one of the most celebrated dance sequences in cinema history. No one tapped like Ann Miller, not before, not after. Away from the stage lights, her life was far more complicated. She endured 5 marriages, including one marked by abuse, and struggled quietly with depression and health issues. Yet she remained fiercely professional, known for never missing a performance and for mentoring younger dancers with warmth and discipline. Few knew she was deeply shy off stage, the opposite of her fearless screen persona. Ann Miller died on January 22, 2004, at the age of 80. She passed away at Cedars-Sinai Medical Center in Los Angeles, California, due to respiratory failure following complications from lung disease and cancer. Her death marked the loss of one of Hollywood's last true musical stars. The response was immediate and heartfelt. Tributes poured in from across the entertainment world, celebrating not only her talent, but her resilience. Classic film channels honored her work, Broadway lights dimmed in respect, and fans revisited her films, marveling once again at feat that seemed to defy physics. Today, Ann Miller is remembered as the fastest tap dancer in Hollywood history and one of the final icons of the studio musical era. Her performances continue to inspire dancers, choreographers, and film lovers around the world. She represented a time when movies dared to be joyful, athletic, and unapologetically spectacular. Ann Miller didn't just dance on screen, she danced into history, leaving behind rhythms that still echo long after the music fades. He swung a bat with quiet power and unshakable dignity, changing baseball forever while carrying the weight of a divided nation. Hank Aaron was born on February 5, 1934, in Mobile, Alabama. Growing up poor in the segregated South, he learned to hit by swinging bottle caps with a stick, refining instinct before technique. His rise to fame began in the Negro Leagues with the Indianapolis Clowns, where his talent was impossible to ignore. Soon after, he joined the Milwaukee Braves and began one of the most consistent careers in sports history. In 1957, he led the Braves to a World Series championship. But history truly changed on April 8, 1974, when Aaron hit his 715th home run, breaking Babe Ruth's long-standing record. He finished his career with 755 home runs, a mark that stood for more than 3 decades, along with over 3,000 hits and countless records built on discipline, not spectacle. Behind the statistics was a man of deep character. During his pursuit of Ruth's record, Aaron received thousands of hate letters and death threats. He carried them in silence, protected by guards, choosing grace over anger. Few knew how deeply this period affected him, or how deliberately he avoided confrontation, believing that excellence itself was the strongest response. Hank Aaron died on January 22, 2021, at the age of 86. He passed away peacefully in his sleep at his home in Atlanta, Georgia. His death was attributed to natural causes, closing the chapter on a life lived with extraordinary endurance. The reaction was immediate and emotional. Tributes came from athletes, presidents, and fans around the world. Major League Baseball honored him with moments of silence, while stadiums lit up in remembrance. Many spoke not only of his records, but of the barriers he broke simply by standing firm. Today, Hank Aaron is remembered as more than a baseball legend. He is a symbol of perseverance, quiet courage, and sustained greatness. His legacy lives in every player who understands that consistency can be revolutionary. Hank Aaron didn't just break records, he broke through walls, and in doing so, changed the game and the country forever. She lived in Hollywood's golden glow, stepped away at the height of fame, and left behind a quiet mystery that still lingers. Frances Gifford was born on December 7, 1922, in Santa Monica, California. Raised near the heart of the film industry, she was discovered as a teenager and quickly signed to a studio contract, barely out of high school. Her rise to fame came swiftly during the 1940s. She became known for her roles in atmospheric thrillers and noir dramas, often playing intelligent, emotionally complex women. One of her most memorable performances came in Alfred Hitchcock's Suspicion in 1941, where she starred alongside Cary Grant. She continued to gain recognition in films like The Woman in the Window and Black Friday, proving her range in suspense, mystery, and psychological drama. By the late 1940s, she was a familiar face to moviegoers and critics alike. Yet behind the screen presence was a woman who struggled with the pressures of Hollywood. Frances Gifford married actor and producer James Dunn, but the relationship was marked by emotional turmoil and abuse. The marriage ended, and not long after, she quietly stepped away from acting altogether. In the early 1950s, at the peak of her recognition, she chose privacy over fame, disappearing almost completely from public life. Frances Gifford died on January 22, 1997, at the age of 74. She passed away in Los Angeles, California, from natural causes. Her death received little media attention, reflecting the quiet life she had chosen in her later years. In the days that followed, classic film historians and longtime fans revisited her work, expressing regret that such a talented actress had faded from public memory. Film archives and retrospectives began to mention her again, acknowledging both her talent and the personal struggles that shaped her life. Today, Frances Gifford is remembered as one of Hollywood's lost stars. Her performances remain subtle, haunting, and emotionally resonant, capturing a specific era of cinema where restraint carried power. She represents the many artists whose contributions were real, even if their names became whispers over time. Frances Gifford didn't chase immortality, yet through the quiet intensity of her work, she found it anyway. He shaved his head, lit a lollipop, and changed television forever, becoming an icon of toughness mixed with unexpected warmth. Telly Savalas was born on January 21, 1922, in Garden City, New York, to Greek immigrant parents. Before acting, he worked as a radio producer, never imagining his voice and presence would one day define a generation of television. His rise to fame began in the late 1950s with powerful film roles that showcased his intensity. He earned an Academy Award nomination for Birdman of Alcatraz in 1962, playing a brutally realistic prison guard. Audiences noticed. Soon after, he appeared in major films like The Dirty Dozen, cementing his reputation as a commanding screen presence. But it was television that made him unforgettable. In 1973, Savalas became Lieutenant Theo Kojak, bald, sharp-tongued, and unexpectedly compassionate. "Who loves you, baby?" became a cultural catchphrase almost overnight, and Kojak turned him into an international star. Away from the spotlight, Savalas was more complex than his tough guy image suggested. He was deeply proud of his Greek heritage and often spoke about family and loyalty as guiding forces in his life. He was also a singer, releasing albums and even scoring a UK #1 hit with his spoken word version of If. It surprised many, but that contrast was part of his charm. Telly Savalas died on January 22, 1994, just one day after his 72nd birthday. He passed away in Los Angeles, California, due to complications from bladder cancer. The timing made the loss feel especially cruel. A life celebrated one day, gone the next. The reaction was immediate and heartfelt. Tributes poured in from actors, filmmakers, and fans around the world. Television networks replayed Kojak episodes, reminding audiences why Savalas had been so magnetic. He wasn't just playing a cop, he was redefining what a TV hero could be. Today, Telly Savalas remains a symbol of television's golden age. His influence can be seen in every flawed human detective who followed. Tough, witty, and unexpectedly tender. He didn't just wear the badge, he made it iconic. Some stars fade quietly, others leave a voice behind that still echoes. Telly Savalas was never silent. He rose from rural poverty to the highest office on earth, reshaping America in crisis, controversy, and profound transformation. Lyndon Baines Johnson was born on August 27, 1908, in Stonewall, Texas. Raised in the Texas Hill Country, he once worked as a schoolteacher, witnessing poverty that would deeply shape his politics. Johnson's rise to power was relentless and strategic. He entered Congress in 1937 and quickly mastered the machinery of Washington. As Senate Majority Leader in the 1950s, he became one of the most powerful legislators in American history, famous for the intimidating and persuasive Johnson treatment. In 1960, he was elected vice president under John F. Kennedy. Then everything changed. After Kennedy's assassination in 1963, Johnson became president at a moment of national trauma. His greatest achievements followed. He pushed through the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the Voting Rights Act of 1965, landmark laws that transformed American democracy. He also launched the ambitious Great Society, expanding education, health care, and anti-poverty programs on a scale never seen before. Behind the forceful public persona was a man full of contradictions. Johnson was deeply insecure, constantly seeking approval, yet fiercely dominant. He loved the land, returning often to his Texas ranch for solitude. Few people know he recorded hours of private conversations, secretly taping calls in the White House, leaving behind an unusually intimate record of presidential power and doubt. Lyndon B. Johnson died on January 22, 1973, at the age of 64. He passed away from a heart attack at his ranch in Stonewall, Texas. His health had been failing for years, worsened by stress, smoking, and the burden of the presidency. He died just days after the Vietnam War ceasefire, a conflict that haunted his final years. The world reacted with mixed emotions. Leaders praised his civil rights legacy, while critics reflected on Vietnam's devastating cost. Flags were lowered. Tributes filled the Capitol. History paused, uncertain how to judge a man who had changed so much and lost so much. Today, Lyndon B. Johnson remains one of America's most complex presidents, a champion of equality, an architect of reform, a leader undone by war. His impact still shapes laws, lives, and debates across the nation. Power reveals character, and history remembers those who dared to change its course, even at a heavy personal price. She danced through the silent screen with elegance and joy, then quietly stepped away, leaving behind a fleeting but unforgettable Hollywood dream. Jobina Ralston was born on November 21, 1899, in Southgate, California. Trained as a dancer from a young age, she first found work performing in musical revues before movies ever called her name. Her rise to fame came during the golden age of silent film comedy. In the early 1920s, Ralston became a beloved leading lady opposite Harold Lloyd, one of cinema's biggest stars. Together, they created some of the era's most iconic moments, including the legendary thrill comedy Safety Last, in 1923, where Lloyd famously dangled from a clock high above the street. Ralston's charm, warmth, and effortless grace balanced Lloyd's frantic energy perfectly. She went on to star in other successful films like Girl Shy and The Freshman, becoming one of the most recognizable faces of silent Hollywood at her peak. Away from the camera, Jobina Ralston lived a life far removed from celebrity chaos. Unlike many of her contemporaries, she chose stability over spotlight. She retired from acting in the late 1920s, just as sound films were taking over, and focused on family life after marrying producer Arthur Beck. One lesser-known fact is that she rarely spoke publicly about her Hollywood years, preferring privacy over nostalgia, even as her films became classics. Jobina Ralston died on January 21, 1967, at the age of 67. She passed away from cancer in Redondo Beach, California, quietly and without public spectacle, just as she had lived most of her later life. The reaction was gentle but sincere. Film historians and silent movie fans mourned the loss of a woman who represented innocence, joy, and the magic of early cinema. Though she had been absent from the spotlight for decades, her death reopened appreciation for her work and her unique place in film history. Today, Jobina Ralston is remembered as one of silent cinema's most graceful leading ladies. Her performances continue to charm new generations, preserved in flickering black and white frames that refuse to fade. Some stars shine briefly, then vanish, but their light remains, quietly glowing wherever cinema history is remembered.